And he grabbed that rock of truth, that rock of revelation, and he slung it. You know what? You can disagree with me, but I think David, I don't think it had anything to do with physics and, you know, his skill and talent and ability, though I know he was talented and all that. I think David could have like flung that thing the total opposite way. We would have had like a boomerang rock, you know, just and come back and hit him in the head. Because it wasn't about the rock, or the gifting he had, or the ability he had. Don't think today it's about your charisma, or about how much you can do, your gifts. It's not about your gifts, it's about His grace.
Yeah. Right.
It's not about all that you can do. Look at me, I'm super saint. Watch me flex my muscles. We don't want to watch you flex your muscles. We want to watch Jesus, who stands up tall on the inside of you, do something supernatural that you couldn't do. And people around you don't give the glory to your gifts. They give their glory to God, the one who did it through you. That's why God uses the weak things of this world to confound the wise. Come on, to confound the strong. The foolish things to confound the wise. That's why He uses the base things, the lowly things. That's why He uses us. So He wants to show off in the world and in the nations.
Yeah.
Today, as we get ready, I'm going to allow some time for some ministry. And I don't even know, we might not even have music and all that. That's okay. That's okay. I know there are many in this room that need to deal with some things. You need to face your giant this afternoon. So that this afternoon and this evening, and before you leave, you can go down in this valley where there's violence, but there'll be victory, and you can come out in a new place, not because of some amazing speaker with the lights, the music, or oh my gosh, I was at Hillsong, whoa, all that, because you are willing to take a step and confront things. You know what? This is the kind of message. I wish I could lay hands on you and it could happen, but I can't. I'm just kind of showing you this is what you need to do. You need to be willing to step out and say, I'm sick and tired of my junk and my issues. Some of you have bitterness and unforgiveness that's been in your heart for years and years and years. I know one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life was I had to one night drive up to my dad's house, who I hadn't seen in years and years. My dad divorced my mom when I was really young. He's not serving God at all. And I had to go up to my dad's house. I had to face him. He was the scariest man. I was so intimidated by this man. We never had a relationship. And all my whole life, he was just speaking negative things over my life. Some of you know what I'm talking about because you have dads like this. I always tell him he never told me he loved me. Never told me he was proud of me. And I was in a prison of fear and a prison of failure. For 19 years of my life, I was in this prison. I wish I had time to share my whole story. I used to be one of the shyest guys in my high school days. I was one of the shyest, most intimidated guys. I wouldn't be sitting up here. I'd be like sitting in the back. But finally I realized I'd heard great preachers and been to great camps. And I'd get hyped up for a season, but nothing was going to change until I was willing to confront the issue. Until I was willing to confront the giant. And the giant wasn't my dad. It was the spirit that was operating. And I went up that night, my voice trembling. My dad yelled at me, "What the blankety blank are you doing here?" Because I didn't tell him I was coming. I just came up to his house. I said, "Dad, I got to talk to you right now." My voice was shaking, and tears began welling up in my eyes. And I just said, "Dad, I know we haven't had a relationship pretty much my whole life. I know you put my mom, my sister, and I through a lot of stuff, but we don't need to go over all that." I said, "Dad, I just want you to know that I forgive you." And with a tear coming down my cheek, I said, "Dad, I want you to know I forgive you and that I love you." And I made a choice to forgive and let that thing go. And honestly, that moment I had of confronting my giant that had kept me in the same place for 19 years was a bigger moment than any conference, any camp, any service. I mean, amazing men and evangelists laying their hands on my life. I've had a lot of amazing things happen. But that was the releasing of me to my destiny. I would not be standing here today. I would not be in full-time ministry today had I not chosen to confront and conquer the giant that was intimidating me.